Hi everybody, Russ and Miami's 11. Hope you are all safe and well. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing, hitting the bell icon if you can, because obviously it's so cold, my fingers are freezing up, so I can't get to my mobile to text. But if you can, you know, if you're watching this back in the summer, then you can, obviously. As always, we'd like to thank our channel sponsors, Untuck It. Check them out in the description below. Today's guest, the man's buzzing for it. It's Luke. How you doing, Luke?
I'm good, mate. No, I'm very looking forward to it today. Actually, I was watching yours with Julian Dix the other day with my dad. We were both cracking up, and yeah, I've been watching the Harry Redknapp one, Anton Ferdinand, Perry Fenwick. I've been going through them, mate. They're very good. I've enjoyed them.
Thank you. No, I love doing them, man. Love doing them. Got plenty more to do as well, which is really, really good. How are you in general, man? How's things in this weird world we live in for you?
Yeah, not bad, mate. I mean, I'm just sort of focusing on work at the moment, and pushing myself to do new things and challenge myself still in this new year, even though it's difficult times. But not bad, mate. How about yourself?
Yeah, not bad. I'll be honest, last week I felt really crap. I didn't feel like, and that's the first probably time I felt a bit since like everything's happened.
Yeah.
So but then we turn over Doncaster 4-0. So I'm like all right, thinking it's funny, isn't it? Just oh, okay. Well, I was getting a bit bored of winning 1-0, to be honest, Luke. I'm sitting there like, oh, 1-0 again. But then 4-0, okay, we'll take it. Yeah, so yeah, it's swings and roundabouts, isn't it, with these things? It's one of those things where you can't do nothing. You got to sit there, grin it and bear it. And as you said, at least West Ham are keeping us entertained. You know, could you imagine if we had to handle this pandemic if we were, I don't know, like West Brom or Fulham at the moment? Oh,
mate. Well, it was a little bit like last year, wasn't it? Last season was a tricky one, and it, all I could think about was relegation and things like that. And are we going to escape it? And it would have made the summer even worse. But luckily, we pulled through, and we're moving up, and it's really good times to be a West Ham fan. It's just a shame we can't be in the stadium watching it.
It is. It's a typical West Ham thing, isn't it?
It is.
You've got this team that everyone's proud of. Is that the right word to say? Over the last this season, and to us most of the end of last season as well. And there's no one to watch to them to feel how well we know they're playing at the moment. It's just, and it's just such a West Ham thing. As soon as the fans go back in, we'll end up being absolute dog. Just the West Ham way, isn't it? To be honest,
yeah.
But I don't think it'll be this season. So we could have a very good season by the looks of it now. Yeah, and obviously through to the next round of the cup as well, which is great. This will probably go out tomorrow. This will probably go just before the Crystal Palace game. So hopefully we're looking forward to Crystal Palace winning, West Ham beating Crystal Palace. God, there we go. It's finally come out with a Palace fan now. So yeah, and then we could be fourth in it or something like that. Ridiculous if we win today.
Mate, take over Liverpool. Yeah.
That's mental. That's absolutely mental, man. It's absolutely mental. It's such a West Ham thing, though, as you said. It's like there's no bugger at the grounds and stuff. It's just so bizarre. The whole thing is bizarre at the moment, but there's nothing to do about it. I was watching the American, the NFC Championship yesterday between with the Buccaneers versus the Packers. They had about 15,000 fans there. How the fuck did that happen?
Blimey, I don't know. It's America, isn't it?
Yeah, but I don't get it. It's like, surely I just don't understand how they can have so many. It's like, just seems ridiculous. Everywhere else is like not having behind closed doors and stuff, but they had like loads of fans, because you saw when they were doing the highlights, you saw all the fans like in the obviously socially distanced, but still you're like, it's ridiculous. But hey, we do what we do to get it all done better in it. But and how's business been? Business been all right for you guys?
Yeah, good, mate. So I work at Mallet, so shoes. So we sell in sort of luxury trainers and that. So yeah, it's going really well.
Good.
Yeah, there's a few West Ham boys there actually. One boy, Anthony Regan, that's a massive West Ham fan. You see him on Twitter, always giving it a bit like me. But yeah, no, it's good, mate. Yeah, just got to keep working hard, working from home through these times, and yeah, just doing what we need to do, and that's it really.
It is, I suppose, being sort of just an online sort of, you said luxury trainers and stuff like that. A lot of it is it's just changing how everything's done. It's all online. It's all social. It's all it's like literally everything. Where you might have done a little bit in shop, it's all online, isn't it? Everything. So it's like sort of focuses all onto there. So Yeah, that's good, man. It's good. No, it's good to see. As I said, you always speak really well on when you make comments on like West Ham fan TV and stuff. So I was glad to get you on, Luke. I
don't know, mate. Sometimes I do sort of. Oh, mate, if we get a bad result, I just get so wound up.
Everyone's the same, mate. Everyone's the same.
Yeah,
It's like
we are, but sometimes I just I can't. I go off on one, and it's out of character. I end up deleting my tweets as well because I just go out of character, and I get so wound up by a bad result and things like that. But look, it's been good recently. I've been extra happy with the wins, and let's hope we can keep going up that table. I'll do anything to, win the FA Cup or go in the top 4. I'll do anything.
Okay, right, here we go. Right, so you can either have top 4 or FA Cup. Which one would you have?
FA Cup, mate, all day. I'd rather FA Cup over winning the Premier League. It's just them. It's them. It's just that cup, isn't it? Everyone talks about 1980 and 75 and 64, and I just dream of everyone going back to the Barking Road and celebrating outside, Green Street and all together. Hopefully, this is in a dream world. But yeah, FA Cup all day long.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree.
Competition.
It is, and I think as I said, it's fortunate in the fact that we're in a position now where we can not prioritise one or the other, but there will be a point, won't there? Hopefully, touch wood, we will have to prioritise one over the other. Whether and so let's see. You'll get past Man United first, but who knows? Who knows? But yeah. I'm looking forward. Whatever happens, and it's West Ham, and it's not like we're sort of primed for success all the time. That's why I can't cope with it, to be honest, because it's like everyone's being nice to each other. There's not so much Twitter banter. There's not so much hatred on Twitter, and I do like a live show like most lunchtimes, and everyone's on it, and it's buzzing, and people are wanting to come on and talk, and and it's like there's a real nice.
There is.
Buzz around West Ham at the moment, and everyone's on each other's channels and stuff like that. No, I love it at the moment. It's long may it continue. Hopefully, it will continue.
I really hope so, mate.
I do. But anyway. So, first question we asked Luke, 7.5 minutes in, is why are you a West Ham fan? Why have you chosen the claret and blue, mate?
Well, I think obviously when I was younger, me and my family we grew up in Ilford. Obviously not far from Chadwell Heath.
Yeah.
Obviously born in '95. My dad sort of took me into West Ham as a 2-year-old, sort of as a youngster, and it was the end of that '90s era. I just caught on the end of it of when you used to go down the training ground, and my dad used to take me and my sister down, and we'd see, we were there the day John Hartson kicked Al Berkovic, and just that mad '90s era of West Ham where. You used to be so in touch with the players and stuff. You go down there, you see like all sorts happen, and we were a lot more of a tactile club then, and I think football's changed since then. But yeah, it's I've always been West Ham really. My dad, that's a credit to my dad. We're our family goes back in sort of East End generations, and that's my team. It's my dad's team, and it's East London. Yeah, it's where we're from really.
Yeah, so you sort of like you didn't have a choice, basically.
No, but I didn't want a choice. To be fair, I mean, we moved out a bit when I was younger, and I did go to a school where there wasn't really many West Ham fans, to be honest. And going through my childhood, that was tough. I must admit, like it just you'd get Man United fans with a southern accent always giving me stick, and it used to really wind me up. I used to come home from school just raging, but. Look, there's no one else I'd rather support. I'm just proud of our history, our fan base, and it's a special club to support.
It is, and I think whether I started off when I started doing this thing, thinking, yeah, we are special, but like, just thought it was just like hearsay. People go, we're special fans, we are. But having done this channel now for like, 8 months or something like that, I've met lots of different people in all different walks of life, all West Ham fans. Every one of them is exactly the same. Every one of them will do anything for you, and just the sense of community, whether they're based in India, whether they're based in Ilford, whether they're based in Idaho. That's quite clever. But anywhere, they're all the same. They're all just and even the guys. That's what surprised me about this club. The guys outside of the UK, for example, is the Indian guys, the Fresno Irons, Chicago Hammers, all over the place. You know, they had every team they could pick from. You know, literally, they could pick whoever. And they picked our little funny little club in East London, and just absolutely passionate about it. It's absolutely mental. It's a bright. You know, when you get guys like I've interviewed guys in Perth, and you know, in Melbourne, they get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to watch West Ham play.
Yeah, I think
I wouldn't.
Oh, mate, I would, and I know you would, but I think it's that thing, like, you know, when I first went to Upton Park, you just had that sort of feeling that you belonged there, and I think it's with even foreign fans as well and tourists. The first time they went to Upton Park, you'd always see them like going to bowling or things like that or whatever. I think they just, ever since they went to Upton Park, they fell in love with West Ham. You know, that was the same for me going when I was really young. Just you felt like you belonged there. You felt like everyone around you was part of you, and you felt like a family and a unit. And it just grew on me massively. And you know, to this day, I'm always proud to sort of be West Ham.
Yeah, no, you're totally right. It's one of those clubs that you go on holiday. When we used to go on holiday, it was during the holidays. They were quite fun. I remember them. You'd always end bumping into a West Ham fan. You'd always bump into a West Ham fan, wouldn't you? Really, when you're on holiday, because you just would do it. And it's like, you know, it's just. I just think we're friendlier fans than anyone else. I don't know why, but I just think we do. We certainly are.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we do have a little bit of a reputation of a bit of aggro here and there, but yeah, no, we are a good fan base. I mean, we do have a lot of drama to put up with every now and then, you know. So
of course we do.
Highs and lows, but yeah, we are a great fan base.
And I think because we've had all those highs, all those lows, but not so many highs, that we've become this sort of we've had a certain nature around us as fans. You know, we're always so, like at the moment, typical example, you know, we'll be 7th at the moment. This is obviously before we play Palace. So 7th, 20 something points. I don't even know how many points we got, but 20 something points, you know, or 30 points, whatever we got. The first thing someone says is, "Oh yeah, great, yeah, brilliant, 7th, yep, 8 points to go." It's not the fact that we're you know, we're pushing for Europe.
Yeah.
8 points to go.
No, I know.
8 points to go. You know, got to get to 40. Got to get to 40. You know, just because they know we're West Ham fans, and so there's always that sort of that you know, like, you know, when you got a sandwich, that little bit of butter on the just on top, just to make sure everything's going to say 8 points to go. 8 points to go. Not like, you know, we're doing great, fantastic. 8 points to go. And that's what I love about West Ham fans. You know, it's like that Lanzini goal. You know, when he scored that equaliser, Twitter blew up. Absolutely blew up, is it? Then literally within the blink of an eye, someone said, "Oh, we shouldn't have been 3-0 down after 15 minutes." Who cares? Who fucking cares? You know, we can't enjoy. We've been programmed to always get ready for the speed bump, get ready for the
100%.
And so we don't know when to enjoy ourselves.
Yeah,
like, you know, it's like,
I'm going through that at the moment. Yeah, 100%. I just feel like at some point it's going to all go wrong because I've known it for so long, and it's just awful. It's just awful. But look, we are used to it, but we're never surprised, are we? It's a cycle that keeps going on. But look, it's part of being a West Ham fan. You know, it is like a day in the life of an EastEnders, isn't it? Where there's always a bit of drama going on.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I don't think we'd have it any other way, to be honest. But
I don't think we would, and that's why I think there's so many West Ham YouTube channels, because there's so much to talk about all the time.
100%.
You know what I mean? I don't know how many Southampton YouTube channels there are. Can't really see much more going on with them. You know what I mean? It's like, what do they talk about apart from, you know, I don't know, how good Danny Ings is or whatever, you know, how good James Ward-Prowse is or how good their academy is. That's it. That's all they talk about. You know, what else can they talk about? There's no dramas there. You know, it's all. But that's what I love about West Ham. As you said, there's always something. There's always something. There's always a little, you know, a little fricassee, something that's going to go a bit left field, and you know, we might bring in a funny player. Could bring in Lingard. You know, just like out of the blue, you know, type thing. But that's just West Ham. That's why I love it. I love it. It's great, man. It's great. Well. Do you remember your first game, Luke?
To be honest, so yeah, obviously my dad obviously started taking me in, as I said, in the late 90s, but because I was so young, I just don't remember it. He just like, remembers me sort of crying when it got too loud and things like that, which
we've all done that,
understandable. But the first game I properly remember was in, and this was a tough time to be growing up supporting a West Ham fan, was the 2002-3 season, the year we went down.
Yeah.
that was so tough. Just because I started envisaging West Ham and becoming a fan, and then we went down that year, and you know, all my heroes just got sold as soon as I got stuck into it. You know, Joe Cole, Carrick, Di Canio went, Trevor Sinclair, Defoe eventually went. The year after, Carrick went, and things like that. And it was just that was so tough. My first game that I remember that season was Man United at home. We went for my birthday. I think I was about 6 or 7, and Jermaine Defoe equalised in the last minute, 1-1, and that was fantastic. We went to the museum before the game at Upton Park, which I loved. I just loved it, and you know, we were in the Dr. Martin's upper, right in the gods. But yeah, no, it's great, and I do remember. And then after that, we were sort of getting stuck into sort of a little bit of away games here and there. We went up to Sunderland at the Stadium of Light, and we won 1-0. It was when Trevor Sinclair banged one in. And yeah, mate, it was a tough time that, when, you know, after we got relegated and all of our best players got sold and things like that. That was really tough. But you know, I think that was a really sort of tough time. And it always hurts to think back at all that talent we had that got sold. But look, there's nothing we can do about it.
It always happens to us, though, isn't it? It's like, even if we go well before our time, or, you know, maybe before your dad's time, you know, you look at bloody, you know, like when we won the World Cup, and, you know, we never won the league with that team. We were 3 of the best players in the world, you know. Like, but yeah, no, it's what I can imagine as well, because obviously these, you know, as you said, people like Joe Cole and stuff were like your childhood, you know, your childhood pin-ups, really, as a kid. You know, these great players, and they've all like literally one after the other. You're taking them off the wall or out of the Pliny sticker, and it's like, it must have been such a sad time.
Yeah,
I mean, go on, you go, mate. Go on, you say.
Sorry, but yeah, no, it was tough, and I remember vividly as well that season. I don't know if you remember the old sort of Hammers news magazines they used to do.
Yeah.
I entered a competition to go to the training ground and meet the players and have a kick around with them and that. And it was during a difficult time when Di Canio had fallen out of Glen Roeder, and they weren't speaking, and Di Canio was sort of training on his own. And I went down there, won the competition. I went down there. It was a great day. I sort of like, I was cleaning John Monker's boots with a brush and things like that. And I'll never forget this. Di Canio obviously weren't speaking to Glen Roeder, and Di Canio just came over and signed my shirt, and you know, that was something that will stay with me sort of forever. Di Canio is obviously my biggest idol, and my favourite ever West Ham player. But that was like mad. And that was a nice kit we had that season, even though we went down. But that was a special moment for him to sign my shirt when, you know, he wasn't speaking to the manager and things like that. But, you know, again, so West Ham.
Oh, you've done quite well. You've gone there. So you went to the Chadwell when Roder and Di Canio weren't talking. You went to Chadwell when Harkson kicked off Berkovich's head. You've done you get one more, and you get the hat-trick. Fantastic. It's funny. There's a few people who were at that same training session. We had, I think it was Reese. I think Reese went to that training session, and I think we had Bertie Braley, one of the youth team guys from 1990, and that was his first training session. Was the famous at Berkovich and Hartson. We've had Johnny on, actually. Johnny come on apologising once again for kicking Berkovich in the head. It's like, all right, John, let it go now. It's okay, man. It's okay. We believe you. We believe you, man. But and you mentioned about Di Canio and stuff like that. So obviously on this channel we do. And the whole point is my Hammers 11. So the idea is we get everyone who comes on the channel gives their 11 basically. So, you know, so it doesn't have to be the best 11, could be your favourite 11, could be your worst 11, whatever. The only rule is you have to be alive to have seen them play. So, you know, probably late 90s onwards, basically. That's not, I mean, it's still a bloody good spread of players, to be honest. There's some great players in there. So let's start off in goal. Who would be in goal for the Luke 11? That's the question.
So this one wasn't really that tricky for me, actually. I mean, we've had some good keepers. Timmy Walker I've really liked. I'm a massive Fabianski fan, but for me it was Robert Green. Sort of such a great goalkeeper, really underrated. It was tough when he made that mistake for England. because like when West Ham have a good player and I'm banging on to all my mates about him, like right at the moment, for example, they just don't buy into it. They don't think he's acting because he plays West Ham. Robert Green was one of them. I said he's so good in goal. He used to save so many penalties, and that performance away at Arsenal when we won 1-0 that in the Great Escape season, that was special. And Robert Green was a great keeper. I wasn't happy about Robert Green's legacy going to Chelsea at the end of his career, but I'm a massive Robert Green fan. He was a great keeper for us. Really helped us out, actually.
Yeah, you're totally right. He was, and you said that to goalkeepers, you could easily reel off 3 or 4 good goalkeepers we've had in recent times. It's one of the areas I think we never seem to sort of tell a lie. There's about 6 months last year we did, but we never sort of like have a situation where we've got a particularly bad goalkeeper. Even Adrian was erratic, but he was okay. He wasn't like a Roberto, was he? So he did the job. And obviously, people, you said Rob Green and you said Jimmy, and we had Jimmy on as well. We had like Xhaka and David James. We had some good goalkeepers over the years. That's for sure. Obviously Ludo and Fabianski. I think is brilliant. And just it's one of those things where it's annoying. Where I'd have loved to got Fabianski about 2 or 3 years earlier than we got him. Do you know? Maybe when he left, before he joined Swansea, then we could have just had him for an extra little bit of time. He would have been absolutely superb. Right, okay, let's put Rob Green in goal and make a note so don't forget. Right, okay, who's going to be in defence? Luke, you go through them as you've got them, man.
Can we do a 3-5-2?
You can do whatever you want. It's your team, man. You can do whatever you want.
All right, wicked. So I'm going to go with 3 sort of centre backs. First one is Anton Ferdinand.
Let me find Anton.
I think Anton was very, very underrated for us. He had a lot of ability, to be fair, and from the get-go, people were sort of comparing him to Rio, which is obviously tough. And he still had quite a good career, and especially for us, he was very good. I think I remember very well in the Championship season. He was very good when we came back up. That was a sort of special season, and then even after that, when he scored the last minute equaliser at White Hart Lane and things like that, I really, really did like Anton a lot. I thought he was a very good player. It's a shame he left and the way he sort of left as well. But yeah, he's my first choice.
And I agree. I think he's obviously we've had him on, and he came out and spoke. I mean, I don't know. I never asked the question about Rio, but he said, "Oh yeah, no, it was really hard." And obviously, I'm a brother, and I was like, it must have been tricky because like he was there all the time when Rio was there as a younger kid, playing in the same position with the same name, looks like him. It must have been horrible. If he was like if Anton was like a central midfield player, it'd be different. Wouldn't it? Really, a little bit, because he was the same position as well. But you're right. That Championship year, him and Elliot Ward.
Great partnership.
Great partnership. Elliot Ward. Keep an eye out on Miami's 11. So I'm saying. He'll be on there soon. Chelsea City's legend. Elliot Ward, hopefully soon. But yeah, no, Anton was great. I think, and when we interviewed him, he still loves the club and so passionate about West Ham. It's lovely to see.
It really
it's brilliant. Love it. Love him. Okay, let's put Anton in. Who's next, man? Who's next?
This one is Winston Reid. I think he's been with us a long time now. Obviously, his days look a little bit numbered with us, but wow, what a player! He's definitely been through some ups and downs with us. Obviously, his first when he sort of came in and he was a little bit inexperienced and things like that. I think he just came in off the back of a World Cup as well. Avram Grant brought him in, but he turned into a massive pro for us. Quite an interesting character. He always seemed a bit sort of quiet, and but when he scored a goal, his passion really came out as well. And he scored some special goals for us against Tottenham, Millwall, and then obviously the last one at the Boleyn. So yeah, he was a very good defender for us, Winston Reid.
Yeah, definitely. And as you said, I mean, I think just because of his upbringing, he was always quiet. I mean, he played. I mean, he was New Zealand by birth, but then played in the Danish league. Not very. It's not like Italians and fireys. They're both quite sort of calm and relaxed play, sort of nation. So I think that's probably where he came from. But you're right, once he scored, and they all, it's like Anton's got that banger against Fulham I was looking at the other day, and it's like they've all got it in their locker, don't they? They've all got these they just like these central defenders, they just bash one in and go, there you go. I can do it, but I just don't like to do it all the time. That's why it's always. But as a winner, you'll be like, obviously go down in folklore history, scoring that last ever goal at the bowling and stuff. 100%. And whatever he does, good luck to him.
Yeah, 100%.
In it. We don't know what's going to happen with him, but good luck to him. Right, we'll put Winnie in. God bless him. Who's going to be the third one of that back three then?
Third one is Angelo Bonner. Just getting better with age. What a player. Do you know what I mean? Like, he started off, again, another one that scores a lot of important goals. He scored the winner against Spurs when we done him at Wembley. The first few seasons, he was a little bit shaky. I remember seeing his first sort of pre-season game against Southend away, and I think we won 3-2, but he didn't look all there. But mate, he's come on so well, and just getting better with age. Honestly, I think he's going to go down as one of our best centre halves for the last sort of 20 years. He's looking really good. He comes up with a goal every now and then from a corner, and he's just so mature as a defender now. Like, he's in all the right positions, winning all the headers. So composed, reads the game. A few seasons back, as I said, he gave away a few penalties. I remember at Palace away, but I'm a massive Oggy fan. Oggy fan.
And it's like now, it's like when we had like even like a couple of seasons ago, there was like the three of them. So you had Diop, you had Balbuena, and you had Ogbonna. I don't know why I said Balbuena with a slight sort of Balbuena, but I did. So I'll go with it. So you had those three of them, and it was always like there was always two in form and one out of form, or one injured. And then now it's like, and so it was loaded interchange. Now it's basically Oggy plus someone else. It's not like he's not in that sort of shake up. Now it's do you know what I mean? So he's just, as you said, he's so much more mature now. He obviously got back into the Italian side. Obviously he got injured, so he couldn't play that game. But he's brilliant. He is. I think you're right. I think he could well go down as one of our best centre backs in the last 15 years. You know what I mean?
Again, I've been touching back on that sort of 2002-3 sort of season when we had all of them sort of flair youngsters and things like that. We didn't really have a good sort of centre half other than sort of Ian Pearce, or it was more like Gary Breen or sort of Christian Daly. Again, Christian Daly was very good actually. But I think Ogbonna the last sort of 20 years definitely gets in there.
Yeah. Good shout. Okay, so that's your back three. That's your goal in your back three. Right, go on, and you go through them as you got them written down. Then Luke.
I've very much had to cater for this midfield. This midfield's been playing on my mind for the last couple of days, to be honest, mate. I'll start on left midfield, which is Matthew Etherington.
Yeah,
what a player! He goes a little bit under the radar. Again, I could probably pick a few. I don't know. I think he's what a left midfielder he was, and a left winger. He bomb down and then just get a ball in. And usually there'd be a Marlon Harewood or a Bobby Zamora on the end of it.
Exactly.
Just what a player.
Brilliant. Yeah.
So quick on the ball. Quite an old-fashioned sort of winger, left midfielder. Yeah. Never really cut in. It was all just down into the corner flag, ball in. And, you don't really see that very, very often these days. It was, as I said, very old-fashioned, but very effective. I was actually quite gutted when he left as well. But footballers do move on. But
they do. But you're right. He was like, I think when we interviewed him, I think as his introduction, I said he was one of the last old school, like the last proper left wingers, because like now they're inverted, aren't they? They put them on, if they're right foot, they put them on the left and right. I mean, Bowen's left foot, but they put him on the right, so he comes on his left all the time. Whereas you said, like, Effington would literally bomb it down and then cross it in for someone to header in, a bit like what we're doing. We're scoring quite a lot of crosses at the moment as well, so it's like getting a little bit back to that way. But it was brilliant, wasn't he? Just lightning quick, quick. Looked like, and we said, I did tell him this, it looked like, that, a breath of wind could knock him over because he was so skinny. But yeah, God, he could cross the ball in and he was so quick. Remember those, there's playoff final games and the playoff semis and stuff. He's brilliant, absolutely brilliant, man.
I feel like he was someone that sort of really embraced the club as well, and
Yes.
sort of took it in. Became sort of one of us. He didn't really get on well at Spurs, and from the get-go, he felt like he was a proper West Ham player.
Definitely. Right, Matty's in. Who's next then, Luke?
So I'm going to go for a CDM, defensive midfielder, and this is going to be Declan Rice. Again, the amount of games he's played for us, it feels like he's been with us forever now. What a player. Just unbelievable. I met him when he was breaking into the first team. He barely played for the first team at the Player Awards a good few years ago. I think it was the first season we had at the London Stadium, and he was there looking like a kid that he was very humble even then, just a nice guy, spoke to everyone, all the fans, and all of a sudden, not long later, he broke into the first team, and the rest is history. He's made many appearances for us now. He just gets better and better every game. He's adding dribbling to his game and going forward with the ball and shooting, and the goals are going to come, I think, soon as well. Massive Declan Rice fan.
Yeah, he's brilliant. I mean, he's just brilliant. I just think he's. I think that the signing of Thomas Souček has made Declan Rice into like a far better player. Better player now, because they almost have this sort of like an understanding. It's those two in midfield are quite dynamic. They both like going forward, but they will both hang back if one goes forward. They've got this good understanding. I just think I still think we've only scratched the surface with him as a player.
100%.
Because the way he's developing, now from you look at when he started, when he came on against Burnley away and stuff for like a minute, and then they'd play him, and then I think when we started playing him at sort of CDM role, we were like, what? Why are we playing him here? And he was like, oh, he's actually quite good. And then he's grown into that role. I mean, I remember seeing him in the under-23s centre back. He was he was like a John Terry centre back. He was very commanding, very, very, very competent centre back. But in this role, he's just, honestly, I can't think of many players in the world in his position who are playing better than him at the moment.
I know. I mean, I was having a bit of a row with my friends in the group chat today about. I was saying he's better than N'Golo Kante, and they weren't having it. But I really think he is. I think he's got everything. He can pass, he can shoot, he can cross the ball, he can run with the ball. I don't really want to be seeing him in centre back ever again, to be honest. I think CDM or centre midfield, and what a player. He's just got absolutely everything, and the goals are going to come. He's got technical ability with shooting and things like that, I think. And I do compare him. I don't really remember watching Rio when he was younger and that, but I can't see us having anyone better than him in centre back or centre defensive midfield or anyone coming close to Declan Rice. And I think it's credit to him. He does all the easy things well, and he's just built on his game. What a player.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. He's got a great foundation. He's just building to it every game.
Yeah.
There's a little bit more. There's a little bit more drive. There's a little bit more. He said bringing, like the other day, he was bringing the ball forward a lot more than he did previous games, and and he's trying to do these free kicks now. He's obviously been practicing this knuckleball, isn't he? He's trying to do them, and as you said, one of them's gonna bang in, and that'd be it then. I think I love him, and I just love his honesty. It's now football is so. Just modern football, I don't think players are particularly honest. I think they quite sort of toe the line. They talk what they toe the party line in terms of what their club or their managers want them to say. Whereas Declan, when he wins a game, he's excited, he's buzzing like we are. When he lost, he's devastated like we are. You just feel like he really feels what we feel, which is a really unusual thing. Right, okay, so we put Deck in. Who's next, man?
Mark Noble. I had to put Mark Noble in. Just what a captain. Just Mr. West Ham. Sort of West Ham player you want to go for a beer with. Do you know what I mean? And just what a player. Like again, that goes under the radar because people say he sort of passes backwards and things like that. But he's a good sort of player if you want to bring on these days and retain possession and things like that, and just keep it steady and things like that. growing up as well, he's obviously a lot quicker than he is now, but he was a pivotal part of our club, and he has been for many years. He's the glue that sort of sticks it all together, really. And that sort of stuff does go unnoticed, 100%.
Yeah, totally. And apart from a couple of years, he's been in the West Ham team ever since you've been supporting him. Really, since 2006, 2005-ish, 6, he started breaking in. From then on, that's just Mark Noble. He's just mental when you think.
Yeah, I mean, again, it was sort of scandalous he never got into the England squad. In that 15 season, the last at the Bowling, it's the best I've ever seen him play. And that season he just looked unbelievable. Every pass he did came off. Scoring amazing goals. I remember one at West Brom where Carroll floated it in and he banged it sort of top bins and things like that. Just what a player. That season he was unreal, and I think him just having Pyatt in front of him where you could just give him the ball and he'll do the rest. Mark Noble was amazing that season, and very special player. But again, I think he still glues it all together. He's still Mr. West Ham and welcomes everyone into the club and out of the club and things like that. Yeah,
definitely. And I think you're right in terms of his new role now is that 20-minute man. He comes on at 75. Well, it's 15 minutes for us, but anyway, you know what I mean. It's sort of like even 10 minutes. He comes in when we're 1-0 up, 1-0 to the Cockney boys. He comes on and just take off a forward player, and he just comes in and just holds possession. That could be his position now for the whole of next season as well. Hopefully, just so that role is he's still incredibly fit. He'll play the odd cup game, and then he'll be doing that 15-minute role, 20-minute role. And to be honest, it's not just that, but he's the respect that others have for him. As I said, Declan Rice, he gives his armband to him as soon as he comes on the pitch. That shows you how much respect Declan Rice has for Mark Noble as a captain. He doesn't have to do that, but he does that.
I think everyone in English football has respect for Mark Noble. Even the likes of Joe Cole and people like that, they all massively sort of respect Noble. They know who he is. They know he's Mr. West Ham. Things like that. But it's just a real shame he never got that England cap. Definitely deserved it. I think it was a time when Roy Hodgson was in the manager, and that says all you need to know about that. But
it always happens. It's happened even before your time, Luke. With Julian Dix, and it happened with Billy Bonds, and Phil Parkes didn't get as many games as he should have done. It's just a typical West Ham thing. Right, so we put Nobes in. Who's the next one?
Not everyone's favourite person, but Dimitri Payet. What a player. I think for that, as a sort of fan of West Ham, I'm also really a fan of football. So however he left or whatever, just what a player he was. I haven't really seen much come close to that sort of level of skill and performance and just magician. We literally had one of the best players in the world not too long ago, just in him, and just things he used to do were crazy. His free kicks, it was, even that Man United game where he scored that free kick away, and hopefully we have another iconic moment like that in the cup game coming up. But I absolutely loved Payet, and when he left and the way he left, that was a real heartbreak for I think all of us. But I don't like seeing players like that leave. I don't think anyone does, but what a player. No matter how he left, I can never sort of forget that season and how good he was.
No, of course. What he gave us that seat, we wouldn't have had that season if it wasn't for him. 100%. End of. 100%. And so, it doesn't matter what happens and where he's gone afterwards and how he's left and things like that. It doesn't matter, I don't think, now, because of the memories he's given us. And you get that, those sort of mercurial players, you do get that sort of other side to them, and, I think people forget how he left, how he joined us. He joined us doing the same thing he did to leave us with. Marseille welcomed him back with open arms, so he can't be that all bad. Got that, do you know what I mean? So, and we doubled our money on him, so could have been 70, but,
I think with things like that as well, he didn't go to a rival, it was sad to see him leave, but I think he did just want to go home, whatever sort of conspiracies people want to believe and things like that. He did just want to go back to where he came from, and you know, I do have a little bit of respect for that. You know, he clearly didn't speak much English and things like that, but yeah, just a great player. And I would have been, you know, I would be hating him a lot more. He probably wouldn't get in this team if he went to a Tottenham or a Chelsea or something like that. But look, he just went back to Marseille, so I can be a little bit more forgiving on that one.
Oh, that's very kind of you, Luke. And also, I mean, you know, again, someone like Payet, he was the first time I can remember for a long time, not until recently, because we started to do it recently, where we bought players in their prime. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, Payet was like, you know, on the Opta charts as the you know, the best, wherever he was, you know, in Europe, and yeah, that's great. But he was doing it for League On. But we bought him, and for those 18 months, arguably that was the best 18 months of his career. And you know, hopefully we're having seeing it now with Souček, and we're seeing it now with, you know, with Bowen, and maybe with Ben Rama and stuff. You know, we're buying players where they seem to be in their pomp now rather than bookended their career, which happens too often at West Ham. But yeah, no, he was a phenomenal player, and it's just, you know, as you said, just the memories he brought.
I think that season as well, when he went out injured, you could see he's sort of struggling, and things like that. And I think the difference now is we're much more of a team. We don't have that one focal point. We've just got a core team of good players that all work hard for each other. And you know, if Ben Rama and Lanzini come off, you've got Fornals and Yarmolenko coming on who can still do a job. And I think that's what's changed. That's what's different to then. Again, what a special season it was, but hopefully them times are coming back.
Great shout. Yeah, great shout. Right, okay, we'll put Dimi in.
Yeah, mate.
Oh, mate, who's next?
Not a natural right winger, but I had to put him in this team. Is Joe Cole. Just what a player. Obviously, growing up, when my first proper season that I remember, he was such a talent. Took the captaincy that season as well, for which a lot of people forget, but I think he was only about 21, and you know, he took that captaincy on, and just what a player. I think saying it's quite controversial. I think Joe Cole played his best football at West Ham. He didn't play at Chelsea, because at West Ham he literally dipped out in and out of players, skating on ice, you know, tricks, everything, and just such a special player. And when he went to Chelsea, that was a tough one to take as a young kid, seeing your hero go. I think still now he adopts West Ham quite well. I see him sort of in Chigwell about a year ago actually, and he got a photo of me doing the hammers and things like that. And
he's a top bloke. His family's still West Ham and stuff.
Yeah, you just feel like he's still a West Ham sort of. He's a sort of, when you think of West Ham, I think you sort of still think of Joe Cole and people like that. I think what a player he was. Yeah, just such a good player. Yeah,
and I totally agree with what you mean. I think he played his best, like his truest football when he was at West Ham. I think he does a podcast with Tom Davis, which is quite good, on Joe. I think Joe.co.uk, and he talks in the first episode about him as a footballer, and he was like, I'm basically a street footballer. I've always been a street footballer, so I love doing the tricks, love doing the flicks. When did you do it the most? At West Ham, you know. So for me, it's like, well, that's his natural, you know, that's what he does. So, you know, and he's a top boy, Joe. He's top boy. One day he'll be on here. One day.
Not too long.
Couple months time, I think. Hopefully.
Yeah, mate.
He's in Dubai at the moment.
Is he?
No. Everyone's in fucking Dubai.
They are, mate. Brits abroad, you know.
Why the fuck am I not in Dubai? That's the question. That's what I don't understand.
I know, mate.
When's the YouTube money start coming in so I can go to Dubai? That's what my wife keeps saying. So yeah. Oh, yeah, it's all right for some. Yeah, they all seem to be in Dubai. I know Joe's doing a soccer squirt at the moment, so that's why. So fair enough. Right, okay, we'll put Joey in. Joey's in. Number. No, he's 9. Okay, 2 more. Who's next, man?
Next one, Carlos Tevez.
Carlitos.
Obviously, he wasn't there long. But again, as a fan of football, apart from being a West Ham fan, just someone you could sit and admire the way he played and grafted, and tricks, skill, drive, determination, just a winner really. And that's, I think, why we stayed up, as well as the likes of Rob Green and people like that season, the Great Escape. But yeah, Tevez is just a fantastic player that we had. And again, not with us for long, but really sort of cemented sort of hero status with us. I think in 19 games he played, and
mental, isn't it?
Yeah, it was. I mean, lovely free kicks again, like Payet,
Yeah.
but just such a good player. The shout again, another one that left us, but it's the way it goes, isn't it? But yeah, what a player.
Yeah, it is the way it goes. It's funny, as you said, he only played not even 20 games for us, and he's become a bit of a cult hero and everything like that. And I think it doesn't. I don't think it matters how many games someone plays, but it's how they play the games. And so you could have someone who's played 200 games, and if they don't look like they're bothering, no one can remember them really. But some people, it says Carlitos played less than 19 games. Every one of those games, he ran his heart out. He did, he just did, and maybe to his detriment to start off with. I think he was trying to do too much, and he just wasn't really effective. And I remember when I think it was Curbs came in, did a bit like what Moisey did with Arnie and McCann, and goes, right, you stay up front, and we'll kick the ball to you, and then you do stuff, and then it just worked. And I know it's funny. I was talking to someone the other day, and there's a little bit of parallels between him and Ben Rama at the moment, because Ben Rama just can't seem to get a break. Do you know what I mean? Hits the post or the goalkeeper. There was a time where Carlos was doing exactly the same thing.
Yeah,
that first goal went in, and that's it. And that's what I think is happening with Ben Rama. That first goal, gonna sue up. But yeah, no, top guy.
Yeah.
And Anton says a really good story about Carlos. About Carlos wanted to integrate himself so much in the team, but he didn't want to learn English, which that's a double imperative, isn't it? Double negative. That he had a translator, and that translator would literally go everywhere with him, including when they went, I don't know, China Whites or whatever it was at the time. He put his translator on the dance floor with them, and so he's dancing like with Anton and that lot with his translator in the middle, trying to communicate, good music or whatever. I don't know what they're going to say. I don't know what you say. You can't really hear anything anyway in that nightclub. But just brilliant story. Yeah, top man. Right, and actually, it's a good book. If you want to look for a good book, there is a good book. Dan Hurley's done a good book called The Greatest Escape, and it's all about that last season, from beginning to end. Really good book. Top man, Danny's right. Okay. Hashtag not ad. There we go. Just because you work in marketing, so just in case, you know what I mean. So, all right, Carlitos, and who's the last one? I could probably guess the last one.
Yeah, I think you can guess. I mean,
just got to find Jonathan Caleri. Let me find him.
I think it's tricky though, the striker position, because I absolutely loved and adored Bobby Zamora and Marlon Harewood.
Yeah,
and that's tough leaving them out. I think you should do a West Ham number 2 team. I think you need to do one, because there's people like that I hate leaving out. Dean Ashton as well, but has to be Paolo Di Canio. Has to be.
Yeah.
He's the first name in this team. Just loved everything about him. Was lucky enough to see him at Mark Noble's testimonial and get a photo with him at the last of the Bolin, and just being in the same sort of space as him was just like, I was mesmerised. I don't get that of anyone else. Paolo was just obviously Paolo, and wow, just don't have any words for him really. It was just so special of a player, like everything.
He was more than a player, I think. Do you know what I mean? He was a player. He was a cult hero. He was an enigma. He was a personality. He embodied our club at that time. He was the complete microcosm. It's a long word. He was the complete microcosm of that crazy era at West Ham.
Yeah,
because he was that. He was everything that epitomised it. If I swallowed a dictionary today or something, I've just said epitomised as well. Fucking hell. He did. He was crazy. He was mesmeric. He was a petulant child. He was the team leader. He would, and that's what I mean. There was always something going on with Paolo in the same way that there was always something going on in that team at that time. He was brilliant. Loved him.
I'd love to have been like a fly in the wall during that era at West Ham, where you're watching John Monker, Paolo, Razor Ruddock, Ian Wright, and it just all coming together, and
it's brilliant.
It just what an era again, but
crazy times. Obviously, we've been fortunate enough to have. Obviously, we've had Razor on, we've had Monks on, and some of the stories they tell And obviously at that time, social media was still a relatively new thing as well. It wasn't really around. So a lot of those stories, there's no video clips of. There's no photos, and there a lot went down. A lot of shit went down in Romford Town, Romford Town Centre, Christmas parties and stuff at West Ham. But and as you said, they were relatable. That was probably the last era, I think, where footballers were all relatable, probably 1 to 11. Occasionally, now obviously Deck and Noble are relatable, I'd say. But then, as you said, you went for that whole team 1 to 11. You could easily see them walking into Sainsbury's buying their Friday Big Shop, or whatever. And that's why I think we adore that sort of era, because of that exact reason. In the same way that the first player I ever met was Pete Butler. You would know. He was about 92, I think he signed 92, Pete Butler. And I met him at a Junior Hammer's birthday party at the old ground. Now, come 30 years, almost 30 years on, I wouldn't expect seeing Felipe Anderson in Al's Adventure House coming out with a birthday cake. You know what I mean? So it's like it's a different time we live in now. But Paolo, man. Paolo, loved him. And again, this channel, obviously, he comes up. I think he's the most picked player on the channel, and so many stories where he said where people have met him, and she said when you met him, you're just in awe of him. The best one, I think, is actually Nicky's one from West Ham Fan TV when they met him backstage when they were doing one of the Q&As. And he just says, he's, "Oh, Paolo, you look nice and smart." And he just went, "I always dress up for my family." It was like,
I wish he was around more, I wish he was, involved still somehow a little bit more, around the place, and just, I'd love it. I'd love it.
In general, in football, do you know what I mean? In the UK, in the British football, I'm not even fussed about too much about just keeping him for ourselves at West Ham. I'd love him to be more involved in you can imagine him and Patrice, Evra having a row on Soccer Saturday, that type of thing. It's like, we'd love to see that. I'd love to see Pat. He does all the stuff at Sky Italia and stuff, doesn't he? So, but yeah, I'd love to see him more involved.
The thing is, they'd rather the likes of Jermaine Genius, do you know what I mean? And I
don't mind Jermaine. I think he's all right. I think he's all right. I know what you mean. It's like they'd rather just they pick. Well, I mean, they'll pick homegrown players, So fair enough, But Paolo'd be a great personality to get back on. That'd be good fun. We'll have a word. We'll start a hashtag.
Get a trend going.
Paolo for Soccer Saturday. That'd be good. That'll jazz that team up a little bit. You can just imagine him and Cammy having a good old Barney about sending off at Portsmouth. That's good, man. That's it. Paolo's in, and that's it. That's it, Luke, man.
Would you rate my team, Russ?
I think it's strong, man. It's a strong team. It's a strong team. I think, to be honest, I mean, every team's different because every team, it's a game of football. That's what I love about football, because you could get 5 people come on and 5 people who give completely different 11s, and each 11, you're like, that'd do a job. And I think this would do a job. I think there's a good base of defence. I think you've got a lot of pace on the wings. I think you've got a lot of trickery. You've got Deck and Nobes to keep it tight at the back, and you've got Paolo. So, and you've got Tevez. You've got energy. I think it's good. I think it's a nice. Right. So I've just put my book away, so I've got to open my book back up, making me do extra work today, Luke. Right. Who's in my 1, 2, 3? 3 in my team.
3.
Yep. Mark Noble's in my team. Joe Cole and DiCanio. Where's my team?
Nice.
I had my team on a bit. My good friend Steve Krieger. I don't know, it's gone. Steve did it. Steve Krieger did it on a. Yeah, my team was Fabianski. It was Julian Dix. Oh, it's up there. I can't get it. Julian Dix, Rio, Ian Pearce, Sebastian Schemmel, and then my midfield was Payet, Noble, Joe Cole, Trevor Sinclair, and then DiCanio and Ashton up front.
Oh, good team.
But then again, and as soon as you say it, I go, do you know what? Because I've been very, as I said, fucking fortunate to interview a lot of ex-players, and actually, to be honest, a lot of them I'd have probably put in my team again now, so I'd probably change it, and maybe I'd take out. don't know.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I bring it, and that's the thing. You could change it. I mean, I was a massive fan of John Moncur. I was a massive fan of Neil Ruddock. Neil Ruddock was the last person I had in the back of my shirt. I had on 2 shirts. On my home shirt, I had Razor, and the away shirt, I had Ruddock. So, you know what I mean? So it's like, why isn't he not in my team? Shaka Hislop. Oh my God, Shaka Hislop. I used to serve him at Safeways every Friday for his Friday Big Shop. You know what I mean? It's like going for the team. I was like, oh, Ian Bishop. Oh my God, I love Ian Bishop. Some of them will stay there. Trevor Sinclair will stay there. Trevor Sinclair, I love Trevor Sinclair. John Hartson, it's like, we do all these things and we do these shows and these people come up with these great names. Oh, fuck, I can't believe
you don't feel bad for leaving out the, the boys who got to 2006 FA Cup final? Because I feel like they never get a mention. They never.
Part of me, but they don't like mention it themselves.
Huh?
So no. So obviously we had like we had Conch on. So we had Conch on. I asked him, right, come on, Conch, right? Was it a goal? Did you mean it? And he went, right. If I'd scored it now, I would have meant it. That's the only thing he said. So basically, he was like, no, I didn't mean it. Of course you don't. I do feel a bit sorry for them. They do get mixed out, and I think the reason that, and I think something which a lot of people don't remember is obviously we had that game with Liverpool just before, didn't we? But the 2 sendings off, and us getting Hayden Mullins off was a lot more of a detriment effect to our team than Louis Garcia. Because Mullins was like, when we've had people like, who've we had on? So like basically, what's interesting when you interview the players is they have a slightly different view of football than we do as normals. You do that if you watch a football game with a coach or whatever, and everyone. So like there's periods. So for example, sort of around sort of the Martin Allen, Ian Bishop, that era, Kevin Keane, they all put Pete Butler in their team. Pete Butler was like, the water carrier. That sort of defensive midfield player who do it. Back in the day before then, they'd all put Jeff Pike in their team. He did the same thing. That sort of 2000 era, early 2000s, all put Hayden Mullins in their team. I think Anton put him in his team. I think Luke Chadwick put him right back to get him into his team, because he is so critical to their team. So, it's interesting. And I love it when that's what I do in this show, because like, literally you'll get some randoms and like some bloke will do, I don't know, God, like, people talk about something, go, oh yeah, who's you up front? He goes, up front I've got Freddie Canute. Oh my God, that's a great shout. I can't believe you've got that Freddie Canute, it's just like, and then some of the ex-players, because they've played with players. So there was one the other day, I was looking at it again. We had Abe, who's written the Bill Gardner book, and he did what was his 11? His 11 was players if only we'd signed them in their prime. And basically it's all like, like Stuart Pearce, Ian Wright, Teddy Sheringham, Alex Song, even Ruddock, all these players. And you look through the teams, you go, I think we've had about 230 different players out of the 260 interviews. Obviously we've had like people like Tony Carr, and then Tony Carr gave us his 11. It was the Academy 11, and it was basically the 2010 World Cup squad, pretty much. I let him put John Terry in because he did go through the Academy. But no, it's great. There's some great names come up, and you go, oh, that's a shout. It's like, I can't believe I haven't put Thomas Repka in my team. Do you know what I mean?
No, that's a tricky one,
Oh, but it's all good, man. No, but I think it's a good team. And if everyone will comment on it anyway, Luke, don't worry.
Oh, nice one, mate. I've enjoyed it.
It's good fun. Thanks, mate. I appreciate your time, man. Appreciate your time. And obviously, thank you to everyone for watching or listening. Whether it's been on whatever it's YouTube, Spotify, podcast, whatever. Give it a shout, give it a share, give it a subscribe. And from myself and from Luke, take care, everyone. Stay safe. Wash those hands. Come on, your irons, and we'll see you again. Oh, I can't see my hands. Look how fucking small my hands are. Come on, your hands. No, I think that's my mother-in-law doing it. Come on, your irons, and I'll see you again very, very soon. Take care, everyone. Much more.